amazing souls, welcome back to another episode with me on my channel Cosmic Contracts with Princess Starlight. So today's topic, I was listening to a podcast, and this is channeled message, and the person, sorry, it's not the person, it's like an archangel or some voice, and he's known as Kryon actually. And the topic was the High Priestess Star Seeds Are Back. So it talks about that. I'm just going to mention the important points that were focused upon. And the first one was that the star seeds, all right, so you always have, okay, let me make a star, so the star, and let's make a seed. So why are we seeds and star seeds, right? What is the term? So the point, in this video or in this podcast, they said that star seeds is like, you can imagine somebody has taken a task to grow an entire forest. So now imagine there's an entire planet and a major portion of the part, and imagine somebody is trying to grow a forest here, and every tree that is growing in this forest is special, it is gifted, and every tree is like that. So it's like a tapestry, and I'm sorry, I forget these words. So it's a tapestry, and what happens is that it takes time to create this tapestry. And he says now you can go back to, we keep talking about 2000 years, right? For 2000 years the divine feminine was oppressed, but he says let's go back to 25 years, 50,000 years, or let's go back to around millions of years. And he says that in this, imagine it has taken millions and millions of years to grow this entire forest. And remember, every tree is gifted here. So star seeds are already ascended souls. So what it means by ascended, he says that he talks about angels in the story. He says that in our stories we keep hearing about angels. No matter where we go in the planet, the angels are always there. What if, and the what if theory begins here. So what if these angels that we keep hearing about in mythology all across the planet are ascended beings? What if they're not? They are angels, because their light shines every time we see this auric thing around them in the pictures. They have this huge light around them. What if these are ascended beings who come to the planets that are on their path of ascension, and they are here to plant these trees from a long time before? So he says that every tree has to grow, and we have to maintain this patience, right? And it cannot happen in one day. Imagine the time it took to plant them here. And then he talks about ascended planets. That's another point, ascended. So I'm just covering the important points. You can go and listen to this podcast, right? It's available on YouTube. So ascended planets, he talks in this point that all the planets are mostly many times, for millions and millions of years ago, they have, like Kryon has seen, and there are many others up there, the beings of light, who have seen millions of planets ascend into 5D, and now is the time of Earth. So when they said that, like the Mayan calendar, they mention about the Mayan calendar and many indigenous tribes. They talk about this 20 indigenous tribes. They talk about 2021. So what exactly happened on 2021? So he says, remember the forest that I talked about? In order to water these plants, all right, to grow this entire forest, 2020 sorry 2012 was opening the gateway, star gateway, and flood the planet with the water, with the energy, the higher dimension energy. And where are these stargates now? One is the Stonehenge, the things that are made with the circular shape that's made with stone. The other is planet of Giza, and then there are many more, and they connect directly to the above dimensions, the realms, and they kind of open portals for higher energies to come in. So he says that this opened, it flooded the energy with the sorry, it flooded the planet with the energy that is needed for these star seeds, this entire forest to grow, right? It needs to grow. And imagine, for millions of years they were planted, and in only 2012 this gateway opened, the Stargate that we keep talking about. So all the important temples of any religion, wherever they are kind of an energy portal center on this planet. And then they talk about and the third point they talk about is the crystalline grid. So in the crystalline grid, he talks about the Ghostbusters. He says there are people who go and they see things, and then Ghostbusters. Let me just write that. So there are people, there are stories, and then they go, they see figures, and they see shadows, energy, they sense energy. It gets cold over there, and they go, and maybe there had been a war or somebody got killed for 100 or 1,000 years before that. So what exactly is happening? What are these Ghostbusters? Are they actually seeing ghosts? The thing is, they are not seeing ghosts, but they are seeing the crystalline grid. In the crystalline grid, you can see the energy imprint. That is, it's like, when something happens, a residue is left behind. So when war happened, or when somebody was murdered, or let's say just a baby was born and there was too much of love in that environment, it left an energy residue, an energy imprint that gets that is kind of coded, or it's left behind, stored in the crystalline grid. And this crystalline grid is in the inner earth, it's found in the inner earth. So they are, what they are seeing is, it's more like, how we access our akashic records. In the same way, the crystalline grids in the inner world, or you must have heard about the agartha networks. So the crystalline grids are like the crystals that store the energy, and therefore the energy imprint, or the residue that was left behind from that particular scenario, be it war or a love scenario, or people were very happy or anything, they left a residue and it is still there. And this residue, Kryon says, is that if people start to map this residue, it will change the entire laws of physics. Isn't that amazing? Like, this is something really thing. We keep seeing ghosts and we see the shadows, and we say that yes, the possession, everything is different. But the topic is that mostly you're seeing, like, you see the akashic records. If you have read this Neville Godfrey's book Unveiled Mysteries, he talks about Saint Germain taking him to taking his energy body, and then they fly, and then they go to Egypt and many other places where he shows him his energy imprint. So you can clearly see the temple where he served, where his wife was, and it's like, everything seemed very real, but that was energy imprint, like everything's become real. And he can see this lush green Egypt, and not the one that we see today. So you can imagine the energy imprint. It kind of looks very real. All right. Then they talk about, there was one very interesting thing that he talks about, Kryon. All right, let's take another page. So, yeah, he talks about the Lemurian times, and he talks about the women, especially, and their power of compassion and uh, kindness, and how much they can feel than men. All right, so he talks about the wheel teachings of Lemuria, and the wheel teachings of Shamanic, or the Shamanic wheel. Yeah, the Shamanic wheel teaching. Yes. So he says that in the Lemurian times, women were more. They were the leaders, they were the teachers, they were the shamans, they were the healers. There were so many things, and they had a more, not in terms of like somebody's above or low. No, it's not like that. There was a balance, but they were the leaders. They were a kind of above the men, but not actually above the men in power wise. So he says that there were the wheels of teachings where they taught about Lemuria, about compassion, kindness, opening yourself more to unconditional love, connecting to Mother Gaia. But people out there, the women, mostly all the women would learn these teachings of Lemurian codes and the wheels, and women were naturally born with that. So when women are said, it's the soul. That soul has learned, it has increased its awareness, its compassion, sorry, its awareness, its consciousness, to tapping into compassion, kindness, nature. And it's coming from the star mothers. And star mothers are all the goddesses that we see across various religions, be it Parvati Ma, be it Mother Mary, be it Hathor, be it Isis, Inanna, whichever goddess you believe in, you pray to. But these are all star mothers. Their consciousness is only about love, compassion, nurturing. So most of the women went through this, and even men actually. So both women and men were they disciplined, or they taught themselves in the teachings of Lemuria, the wheel teachings of Lemuria. And women were naturally born with this compassion, kindness, because physically they had the vessel to birth another beings, which actually kicked in. So they say, when the mother instinct starts, your feelings enhance, your sensitivity enhances. So imagine this empathy, the sensitivity is so much that you can really feel for Mother Gaia, not just for few humans, but you can actually feel how Mother Gaia and Panchamama is feeling, and what are the messages from the Star Mother. So these women and men are very open to that contact, and especially women, because they have the body that literally just kicks off these all these feeling. It enhances it, the awareness, this consciousness increases in these light energies. And then there were the teachings of Shamanic, but they required more they were kind of much disciplined than these teachings, and not many women did that. And even those who did that, some started, but they would not complete. So many, very few of them were the Shamanics, because that required a lot of discipline and sacrifices of all those things, and really grounding yourself to very strong energies. So not everybody got into this way. And then he says that if you feel connected to terms star seeds, light workers, Lemuria, Atlantis, Egypt, Pleiades, all these Pleiades, Lyrans, all these star seeds are basically ascended planets, souls who have gone through all the duality, the ego nature, to only get into, to finally open themselves to compassion, unconditional love, kindness, and all these things. And then he talks about, he says that, you will always feel that you have been, when situations come in your life, you'll be like, oh, I have been there, I've done this, and you don't want to engage in any other way except just, just be silent and let it go. And for that, people will target you like you're weak or something. But the thing is, inside you truly feel that you've done this, you have been there, and you don't want all these things. All right, it's like there's a sense in you that you have already gone through all these soul lessons, and you don't want to get into that. So he says, he talks about that. Coming back to the forest, he talks about that, when the forest is, we only see that it has to, everything moving forward, everything moving is going to move forward only, never backwards. But he says that, in our, on our planet right now, the media is only showing the negative, and always filling it with fear and everything, which has made the collective consciousness question about what if we are happy, what if we are hopeful, what if we are only spreading compassion, kindness, what if money was not the currency but your good character was. So how rich and abundant we are going to be, right? So he talks about that there is one more weather, so like how forest is growing. So one person put the seeds, but now the forest needs to grow, it needs to reproduce. So when we see the birds or we see the insects, they carry the fruit, the cone, or things like that from the forest or from next to the plant, and then they drop it somewhere else and a new plant grows or a new tree grows. So the grown up trees are responsible for reproduction, right? So what he's telling here is that there is one more method, that is burning the forest, right? He talks about burning. You burn the forest and then you get the the black ground. It takes time to nourish, but more nourished and better trees come from it. So he says, in the same way, when you are burning, when your soul is burning with anxiety, sadness, depression, and hateful feelings. So he's saying all the negative ones actually. He's talking about them. He's like, they are like the fire that start burning your soul. When you burn, there's a burning desire that you want to get out of this. It's like a wheel, right? So you get into this dark energies, let's say dark energies, and apologize, and you're burning. So this burning, when your soul is burning with these kind of feelings, you want to break free. And when you do that, you will find a way, and you never want to come back here, right? So people when we go through depression or sadness, do we want to be there? No, we don't want to be there, but something, we trap ourselves in the mental prison and we don't know a way out. But then for some it becomes like a burning need to get out, otherwise it feels like you're gonna burn there. Especially if you have been if you are somebody with the persecution imprint, or you have been burnt, then you have this burning desire in you to not be submissive, to not follow others, to have your own voice, to express yourselves and be independent, be free, freedom, liberation, right? To express your own opinions and be strong to your belief system. So you want to break free, and in that, when you do that, you find the path. So he says that sometimes these are actually the bridge, they make a path for you. And if you had not burned in these feelings, your soul had not burned, you would not have broken free, and you would not have found your path to becoming the ascended being that carries compassion, that carries kindness, that carries unconditional love. Even the star mothers who, when they started as souls, remember, soul is eternal, right? So even they had to go through that 3D world, and they are millions and millions years ahead of us. They have learned their lessons, they have tapped into the divinity, they have cracked open their divinity for these things to flow out of them. And every second, every moment of their existence, they are just flowing in that, and then they have gained wisdom, knowledge in these also. There is conditional, and there are higher versions of these things, and they have learned that, and they have ended up becoming star mothers now. So he and this I think I covered the most important points. There are more things that he discusses, but these were most of the important points. And he says yes. So if you want to tap into um, sorry, just a second. So he talks about I was about to say, yes, the mirror, right? So, whatever you're seeing in your outer world is a mirror of what you hold inside. So, if you are like if you get attracted to crystals, why are star seeds and light workers attracted to crystals? Because they radiate, they shine, and that shine reminds them of their own shine that they hold within. So they say that like a tapestry, I'm sorry, like a tapestry that I drew here, we were woven into a very, very divine plan that was supposed to um, blossom, supposed to grow in this era, right? So he says that the seed is already inside of you, it's in your heart space, the seed is already here, but you have to crack open your light, the divine light that you hold within. And the more you tap into this divine light within you, what happens is every time you tap in, you will remember your lineage, you will remember your teachers, your guides who taught you about what, the starseed journey and all the plan that is now blossoming for this new earth or new era, the Aquarius age, whatever you call this. But it's nothing but it's just that more higher consciousness of the collective more than ever, and that will only happen with the rise of divine feminine, right? So all this plan was decided a long, long, long time back ago, and we all are a part of it. So the seed is here, and we need to find, we need to keep going inside, right? Not the outer world. The outer world is showing only what you hold inside. It may be hurtful, you don't want to accept it. Like there were so many things I think I still don't want to accept it even after knowing this theory. And it's okay, take your time, you're not supposed to rush in. If you rush in, it's not going to work. Remember what you have signed up for, what you have done, it was decided long time back ago. You trained for it life after life, like the civilizations really ended, but you learned your lessons there, right? So you have been training for so long, so it's not good, it's not like something that you don't know. It's just that due with the divine timing now, yes, here the divine timing concept is according to Kryon, divine timing is the ripening of energy. So what happens, you must have heard this phrase that let the fruit get ripe enough, otherwise it won't taste sweet. So ripening of the energy, when the energy is right for you, things will automatically happen. So things are meant to happen one way or the other. You just have to tap into your light, you just have to stand strong, and what is meant for you is going to come. So do not push yourself is the message, do not force yourself. So he Kryon channels through I'm forgetting his name. So when he channels through him, he always says, my partner, and he talks about that, his partner was given the codes, the teachings of where did I write it? Oh my god, I'm sorry. Oh, the teachings, the real teachings of Lemuria, right? And when he got that, he got became, he was like, he really just jumped on the train and he started doing seminars and everything about it. But after years, he realized he's still there. He's learned nothing new. So he says that it took him years to realize that with that information, he just he really he just started thinking that this is what he has to do, and he started preaching, he started doing seminars, but it did not help him, only to realize that he did not gain anything new. So there is no need to jump on the train or start running just by getting few information. Maybe that information is supposed to lead you somewhere else. There's an entire journey, there's an entire path. So the message is, do not run. What is meant for you, when you're supposed to blossom, you will blossom. Just connect to the light within your heart space. Your teachers, your teachings, whatever you have learned, whatever your lineage is, your starseed light worker, it's all here inside of you. You were meant to grow. Each one of us are supposed to grow this beautiful forest, right? Just by getting little information, you will get stuck in that little picture, but you have to see the bigger picture. The bigger picture is every one of us is contributing to create this forest, this higher consciousness forest, and cover the entire planet. And moving forward, this will always be the case for planet Earth. We will go from here, but planet Earth needs to, or Mother Gaia, or Panchamama, she needs to ascend in love, in compassion, in kindness, right? So even if the outer world is not kind to you, or it hurts you, or it there's so many things that we all get from the outer world, the shit, let's say that in clear words. They're gonna give you shit, right? But the thing is, if you realize what you hold within is divine, then stay strong to it. Hold on to that power. And just because somebody gives you shit, remember how powerful energy you hold within. So, just because of that outer thing, do you want to let go of your power? Ask yourself that. And just tap into your inner light. I feel that was the message. And then, with all this topic covered, the last thing was, now that after hearing this episode or something, if you stayed so long and you understood that yes, you connect to this, you feel something very deep in you that's very powerful, that screams out and says, yes, it is you. Are you supposed to, after in like 100% confirmation that yes, you are one of these? What do I need to tell it to somebody? No, like family, friends, society, that oh, I am a starseed or light worker. No. Yes, it's going to be a little hard for you because you know who you are, but they might or they might never know who you are. But the thing is, if you're comfortable, it's okay. But if you'll tell them and they're not going to accept it, you don't need to tell anybody. The only thing is, it is meant for you to remember who you are, what you learn, what you signed up for, and you are part of this mission, this beautiful mission. And it's for you to remember, and that's why you remembered. You have to find your own path. You have to get out of your comfort zone and find your own path. So, no need to tell anybody. If you're not comfortable, there's no need to tell anybody. All right. I hope this helped you. Um, if there is anybody who's trying to find their mission or trying to heal themselves, their womb space, you can book a session with me. And if you just need some discussion about more on these topics, again, you can call me, or you can message me first, and then I will call you a video. I prefer a video call always. So because when I feel that when you see each other, and then when we discuss, there is this openness. You can see what I feel, and if you're an empath, you will always feel, it's like a two-way street of healing. And I cannot heal you or cannot help you or sense you if you are blocked. So I first help you remove the blocks and then get out. So I hope this session, it's not a session, it's just a summary of the podcast that I heard, and it really touched me, and I thought I'll share it with you. I hope this helped you. With lots of love and light, Princess Starlight.